All right, let's jump right in. If you're here, my guess is you never actually planned on becoming a landlord. It's a really stressful spot to be in, and you're probably facing some tough financial choices. So this explainer is designed to give you a clear, data-driven way to get through this.
I'm going to start with a really direct question because honestly, the stakes are incredibly high. There is one single mistake that so many new landlords make, and it has a massive, massive financial impact. We're going to break down exactly what that is, and more importantly, how you can avoid it.
So what exactly is an accidental landlord? Well, it's probably you. It's someone who bought a home to live in, but then life threw a curveball. Maybe a job relocation, a sudden shift in the market, or a family situation forced to move, and now you're holding on to this property that was never supposed to be an investment.
And this is really the heart of the problem, right? The place that was your home, your biggest asset, is completely transformed. It's not just a place to live anymore, it's a business. And with that comes some pretty significant financial risk. To really get a grip on that risk, we've got to talk about the specific market you're in. Because for accidental landlords here in North Texas, the reality right now is, well, it's particularly challenging.
So here's the perfect storm a lot of you are facing. You probably bought your home during that crazy peak in 2021 or 2022. But since then, market rents have cooled off. Meanwhile, your property taxes have stayed painfully high. And what's the result? The rent you can actually get just doesn't cover your high monthly payment. You're losing money from day one.
Now, when you're facing a monthly loss, what's your first instinct? It's to cut costs, right? Squeeze every penny. But this is exactly where people make the single biggest, most costly mistake an accidental landlord can make by focusing on completely the wrong thing.
So let me ask you this. If you're trying to stop the bleeding and claw back some of that monthly loss, where do you think the real savings are? Most people get this totally wrong.
A lot of owners, and I mean a lot, get laser-focused on the property management fee. They'll shop around for weeks trying to save 1%, maybe 2%. And look, on a typical North Texas rental, saving 1% on that fee works out to about $264 a year. It feels real, it feels tangible, but honestly, it's a total distraction.
Okay, now for the gut punch. While you're busy trying to save a couple $100 on fees, just 60 extra days of your property sitting vacant, no rent coming in, costs you $4,400. That one number completely blows any potential fee savings out of the water.
I mean, just look at this. This chart says it all, doesn't it? That tiny little bar on the left, that's your annual fee savings. And that huge, massive bar on the right, that's the cost of just 2 months of vacancy. It's not even a contest. You're trying to save pennies while thousands of dollars are just flying out the window.
So let me be crystal clear about this. Vacancy is your #1 enemy. It is the single biggest, most destructive financial risk you have as a landlord. Every single day your home is empty, you're still paying the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance, the HOA, with absolutely zero income to offset it.
So what's the #1 cause of all this extra vacancy? It's a strategy that's born from pure desperation. I call it the overpricing trap. It's that attempt to price the rent high enough to cover your mortgage payment.
The logic seems to make sense at first, but it's completely flawed. You list the rent for what you need, not what the market will bear. But potential tenants, they're smart. They're comparing your home to dozens of others. They pick the ones priced correctly, and your property just sits there. And those extra weeks of vacancy don't just erase the extra rent you hoped for, they dig you into a massive financial hole.
Look, here's the tough pill to swallow. The market sets the rental price. It does not care what your personal mortgage payment is. And the data shows that overpricing a property by just $200 a month can easily lead to an extra 45 days of vacancy. That mistake costs you $3,300 in lost rent. You end up losing so much more than you ever hoped to gain.
Okay, so if avoiding vacancy is the key to survival, how in the world do you actually do it? Well, it's not about luck, it's about having a strategic system that's designed to lease your property faster than everybody else's. And we can actually prove it with data.
Let's just look at some real performance numbers from Princeton, Texas. The average time it takes to lease a property, well, it varies dramatically between management companies. Showstopper Realty averages 31 days, but other managers in the exact same market are taking 45 or even 91 days. That is not a small difference.
That 60-day gap in performance between the fastest and the slowest, that is a direct hit of $4,400 to your bottom line. This is the whole point. Leasing performance matters infinitely more than the fee percentage on a piece of paper. Choosing the right manager isn't just an expense, it's an investment in minimizing your single biggest risk.
And how do you get that kind of speed? It's not magic. It's a system, a deliberate, repeatable process. We're talking professional photography that makes your listing pop, Zillow 3D tours so people can really see the space, a paid advertising strategy to drive demand, and a data-driven pricing analysis to nail it from day one. It is a machine that is built to fight vacancy.
So this all brings us to the final decision you have to make. You are not just hiring someone to collect rent. You are choosing a financial partner whose performance is going to directly determine whether you minimize your loss or make it much, much worse.
Let's just boil it all down right here. On one hand, you have the wrong focus, trying to save a few bucks a month on fees. It feels good, but it's super low impact. On the other hand, you have the right focus, avoiding a catastrophic, multi-thousand-dollar loss from vacancy. That is the one single decision that will define your financial outcome for the entire year.
Look, your home is just too valuable, too important to leave things to chance. Your next step should be to get a real data-driven strategy that's tailored to your specific property. I'd recommend you contact Andika Duncan over at Showstopper Realty. They can give you a clear analysis of your costs, the true market rent, and a solid plan to minimize your vacancy risk. It's about making an informed decision, not a reactive one.